You know that feeling when you have a French fruit tart and the crust just completely melts in your mouth? Well, you have most likely experienced the magic of what we're talking about today, Pâte Sablée. And we're going to dive in and uncover the secret behind this incredibly delicate, totally delicious pastry dough.
So what exactly is Pâte Sablée? Well, first off, you say it, Pâte Sablée. And it's this famous French pastry dough that's known for being just unbelievably tender and crumbly. I mean, think about the most perfect buttery cookie you've ever had, the kind that just dissolves on your tongue. That's the texture we're talking about. But here's the thing. The real secret to this dough, it's been hiding in plain sight the whole time, right there in its name. Pâte Sablée literally translates to sandy dough. Now, sandy dough, why in the world would you want your pastry to be sandy? That's the puzzle we are absolutely going to solve.
So yeah, let's start right there. What is in that name? It might sound a little strange, but sandy dough is actually the perfect clue. It's a technical description of what makes this pastry so special.
And it turns out it's exactly what it sounds like. The name comes straight from that crumbly, delicate, almost sandy texture of the final baked pastry. It's not a flaw, it's the entire point. It's a promise of a crust that's short, delicate, and just melts away.
Okay, so how do you get that perfect, fine-grained, sandy quality? It's not some kind of baking magic, I promise. It's all about the science. So let's break down the secret behind that amazing texture.
The whole secret is in the ingredient ratios. It really comes down to three key things. First, a very high fat content. We're talking a lot of butter, which gives it that incredible richness. Second, really low moisture, so not a lot of egg or water. And finally, a higher sugar content, which adds to that delicate, almost cookie-like quality.
Now, to really see what's going on, let's compare it to its cousin, pâte sucrée. Look at this. It's a simple trade-off. Pâte sablée cranks up the fat and dials down the moisture. Pâte sucrée, which is a bit sturdier, does the exact opposite. And that one little switch in the ratios, that's everything. It's the difference between a delicate crumble and a crisp, firm snap.
So here it is, the big takeaway. All that fat, all that glorious butter basically creates a waterproof coating around the flour particles. This means that when you add the small amount of liquid, that coating prevents the flour from forming long, chewy gluten strands, which is what you want in, say, bread. By keeping that gluten development super low, you get less structure, and that's what creates that signature, tender, sandy crumble we're all after.
Okay, so we've got the science down. Now let's talk about the fun part. Where does this amazing dough actually end up? Let's go from this simple mixture to the absolutely stunning desserts that we all know and love.
Because it's so delicate, it's the absolute perfect choice for cookies. Think French shortbread, which are also called sablés, funnily enough. And of course, it's the go-to base for tarts and pastries, where you really want that melt-in-your-mouth crust to be the star of the show.
All right, so if you wanted to make this at home, there are really two main ways to do it. You've got the traditional French sablage method, where you literally rub cold butter into flour until it looks like sand. And then there's the more modern creaming method, which, well, it might just look a little familiar to you. So while one of these sounds super technical and, very French, the other one is probably something you've already done in your own kitchen, maybe dozens of times, without even thinking about it.
And there you have it. The creaming method is almost exactly how you make a batch of chocolate chip cookies. You just beat your softened butter and sugar together until it's light and fluffy, then you mix in the egg and flour. So it turns out this super sophisticated French pastry starts with a technique that most of us already have down pat. So the next time you take a bite of a buttery, crumbly tart crust that just dissolves on your tongue, maybe you'll think about its little secret. And you might just find yourself wondering, am I eating sand? And now you know exactly why you'd want to.